let's take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby.
Good morning, everyone. So for today, we're going to discuss 3 ideas. I'm going to share with you the 3 ideas that I had while preparing for the let. Preparing for the let is just like slaying the dragon, knowing that you're going to face the dragon, so you have to be better prepared for it, taking it seriously, but at the same time you have to balance everything. Or I might say you have to prioritize things in order to get the goal that you want. So what are these 3 ideas that I had while preparing for the let? The first one is Metacognition by John Flavel. It's about thinking about thinking. It's about knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know, and how do you go along with it, with the coverage being given to us by PRC. The second idea is autodidactism. It's otherwise known as self-directed learning. We all know that in studying for the let, it's always a question of, am I going to study now, or am I going to study tomorrow, or when am I going to start studying? When or where is the right place and time to study? And the third idea is cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance is a sort of an awareness or acceptance of a certain conflict or struggle within you in doing what you don't want to do, or sometimes not doing what you're supposed to do. So how do you balance all these things? So for today, ladies and gentlemen, to all the let takers and to anyone who are trying to find a way to learn, not because it's demanded, but because you really wanted to learn. So this video is all for you. Let's go. This is Parish Westbridge School, private school for boys. This is where I'm teaching. And actually, before I took the let, I'm already teaching here. The school gave me the opportunity to share what I know. I am not actually an education graduate. I finished diploma in teaching. So in a sense, I entered teaching through the back door. And here in Westbridge, I'm going to share with you the first idea, how I prepared for the let, and that is Metacognition by John Flavel. John Flavel believed that if we are aware as to how our mind functions, and we are able to approach the thinking process in our own unique way, we'll be able to attain our goal. Metacognition by John Flavel speaks about 3 things. The first one is the person variable, that's knowing who you are. The second one is the task variable, that is knowing what you're going to do or accomplish. And the third one is the strategy variable. It's about the steps that you're going to take in order for you to accomplish your particular goal. In a way, it's all about studying smart and studying hard. These 2 things are really complementary, because when you say study hard, that is all about the effort that you are putting into a particular thing or work. Study smart is the strategy as to how you're going to study. So John Flavel would explain it in a way that a person has to know how his mind works, or else you just can't follow the study habits of other people in a way, because others have different ways of studying. That's why I find it a bit, I'm very cautious and trying to tell let takers that this is how I study, so you have to study also this way. Or if I wake up 6 in the morning and study for 6 hours a day, you must also do the same thing. I am very cautious about that, because that's what we mean by person variable. If the person is a morning person, then that's well and good. He wakes up in the morning and study. But if the person is a night person, then that wouldn't be applicable to him or her. So in that way, the study habit would differ. Actually, there is this woman who was able to top the bar exam, and her study habits was totally different from the one suggested by the lecturer. So what I'm trying to say here is that for metacognition, that is, you have to be in harmony with your mind, and you really have to know how your mind works, But this is not about excuses. This is not about justification or laziness or even procrastination. This is about being in control or being in charge of your learning. You have to learn because you are disciplined to do it. In a way, you will be what you willed to be. So there is effort along the way. So for the let takers or for anyone who are aiming to get a high score or preparing for an exam, so this is what John Flavel is trying to tell us, the idea of metacognition. If we know how our mind works, and if we know our own habits, or I may say idiosyncrasies, then we will be able to complement our mind with our body, and we'll be able to approach the learning task with efficiency and effectiveness. So that's John Flavel for metacognition.
Come on.
So this is St. Anne Parish Church, otherwise known as Molo Church. Actually, Jose Rizal visited this place going to Manila from his exile in the Pitan, and he even said La Iglesia Bonita. Well, I really love the works of Rizal. Maybe I can actually still mention the first stanza of his poem, as we now know it as Mi Ultimo Adios. Adios, patria adorada, rayon del sol querida, perla del mar de oriente, nuestro perdido Eden. A darte voy alegre, la triste mustia vida, y fuera más brillante, más fresca, más florida. También por ti la diera por tu bien. I really love the sound of those words. But actually, Bonifacio also has one. Aling pag-ibig pa ang higit kaya sa pagkadalisay at pagkadakila, gaya ng pag-ibig sa sariling lupa. Aling pag-ibig pa, wala na nga, wala. That's Andres Bonifacio. In connection now to our next tip for the let takers, I call it cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance has something to do with an internal conflict within you, with the way you think and feel, and with the actions that you have to take. So we all experience that. We are doing things that we don't like, and there are things that we want to do, but we just don't have the means to do it. So that's what we call cognitive dissonance. Your mind and your heart are not in harmony. So sometimes it has something to do with your goals, it has something to do with your identity, and sometimes it has something to do with the expectations from others. So how do you deal with all these things, especially if you want to review for the let? Like you want to study but you don't have the energy or the willingness to do it. You want to learn it but you just don't have the energy or the passion to go through the effort. So is cognitive dissonance or conflict normal? In a way, yes, it's normal. Wherever you go, there will always be struggles in life. Wherever you go, there will always be people who will not believe in you. And you will just eventually end up with your own self, facing your own self, questioning your own motives. So to the let takers or to anyone who is preparing for the board exam, always remember that if ever you are in conflict as to why you are doing things, always remember why you did that thing in the first place, and hold on to your dreams, to your passion, because you will surely be tested, and eventually that will be the fuel that will push you to move forward. That's it.
Let's take it real soon. You know we got what you need, baby.
Hi. So we now go to our third idea. The third idea is well, let's review first. So first we had metacognition. It's thinking about thinking, being aware, fully aware of your thinking process, and eventually you have a reason why you are doing all these efforts, especially if you're preparing for the LET. So the difficulty, you consider the difficulty as an opportunity to improve. So you don't get to hate it, because the moment you hate it, but you're doing it, then we go to the second idea, that is cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, cognitive cognition, that's the mind. Dissonance is the opposite of consonance. That means it's not in harmony. In Hiligaynon, that is called libagon. Okay, libagon. So it's not good to good to the ear, or it's not a very good way of doing things, especially if you're not in harmony with it. So cognitive dissonance, again, would be you're doing something that you don't like, but eventually if the priority is to sacrifice all the other things because you're committed to prepare for the LET, pass it or top it, then eventually cognitive dissonance will be lessened. And now we go to the last thing, to the last idea. It's still connected with the rest of the ideas, and that would be autodidactism or autodidacticism. It's another way of learning on your own. You learn how to learn without the help of someone else, meaning you are not dependent with others. The fuel of your learning comes from your own interest. It doesn't come from the curriculum. It doesn't come from someone else. It doesn't come from, well, it might come from the inspiration. But the idea of autodidacticism is that you are self-propelled. No one else would motivate you but yourself. So autodidacticism in terms of learning could be self-motivation. So there you go. As I finish eating kapising pancit molo, may you get something out of my sharing today of the 3 ideas about my preparation for the LET. Metacognition, that is knowing yourself, knowing how you think. Cognitive dissonance, finding a way to put meaning to your effort. And then autodidacticism, and that is you are self-propelled. The motivation comes from within, not from without. And hopefully, as I continue to share with you what I know, and as we continue to discuss more about the LET through this channel, I will be able to help you. So from the City of Love, Iloilo, this is Edison Sikad, Alter Ed. Goodbye.
Come on.
When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about when they might have won had they stuck it out. Don't give up. Though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. You never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things are really worst. It's when things are really worst that we, my fellow Ilonggos, must never quit. Rest if you must, but don't you quit. Yeah. And you want to smile, but you have to sigh. Cut. When things go wrong. When he might have captured the victor's cup. You know. I'm gonna